Welcome to Sermons on the Side. I'm Brad.
And I'm Richard.
And life can move pretty fast, so we're here to slow down, dig deep, and find the story hidden in everyday moments.
With years spent in ministry, friendship, and navigating real life together, we're all about blending humor, honesty, and faith into conversations that meet you right where you are.
So whether you're brand new or you're back for more, we are so glad you are here.
So relax, listen in, and let's discover meaning together.
In the ordinary, the messy, and everything in between.
Sermons on the Side, finding meaning in the everyday.
Well, hey, we have some really great news. We've been teasing this for a couple of weeks. It's finally here.
Oh, boy.
You were talking about merch just a second ago from
Yes.
Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we also have merch, and we are so excited to announce
Sermons on the Side merch?
Sermons on the Side merch.
What?
And we are doing a social media merch giveaway next week, okay? So Monday the 23rd through Friday the 27th, this is going to take place. And we'll explain it in just a second. But yeah, we've got merch.
This is really cool.
Dude, I love our intro music. Listen to that.
Wow. Wow. Golly. How much did you pay for that?
First of all, we're not talking about that because we'll do anything for our listeners.
Won't we?
That's right.
We just will.
Dude, you look, first of all, welcome. How are you, sir?
Bro, I am burdened with glorious purpose.
I don't know what you just said, but it was awesome. That was burdened with glorious
I am
purpose.
burdened with glorious purpose.
What does that mean?
It is a line from Avengers.
Oh, wait a second. I've seen that movie. Hold on.
Loki, the bad guy. Actually, Tony Stark said, "How you doing, Loki?" He goes, "I am burdened with glorious purpose."
Oh, I forget when. Okay, well.
Yeah.
I've got an army. I've got a Hulk. You know,
It was right
it
in that scene, in
Okay,
fact,
there
yeah.
you go. All right. Well, you look great, sir. You do look burdened
thank
with
you.
glory.
Come on.
And you look. You've come prepared. I see notes over there. I'm scared.
Oh, there be notes.
I've got no notes. I've got zero notes. Should I be nervous or
No.
All right. We're gonna kind of see how this
not a
goes. Hey,
contest.
welcome to another episode of Sermons on the Side. I am one of your hosts, Brad Williams, and I'm sitting across the table from the incredible other co-host, Richard Moore.
Co-host. Yes. Man, we are here, excited about this episode, but also excited about some cool stuff we're about to tell you.
Before we
just
dive into
shortly.
that, Mr. World Traveler,
Yeah,
welcome back.
Can't seem to stay home.
No.
Split up vacation days. You know, sometimes you get a week for vacation, you split them up. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Chicago for a few days. And then this weekend, we went to Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow.
And had a great time. Was able to get a little merch with my little my hat here. It fits. You know, that's a big deal. Call back to previous episodes.
Yeah, a couple episodes ago.
But man, we had a great time. Ever visit Charleston? Got to go.
Never been.
Oh, it's just
but
an
need
excellent
to. Yeah,
place.
if you ever visit there, tell them Sermons on the Side sent you.
There you go. And I tell you what, it's, we stayed in a little Airbnb, get up right downtown so you can just walk everywhere you needed to go or maybe catch a bus. And so was there with the wife, mother-in-law, daughter and son-in-law, 2 grandbabies.
Wow.
Having a great time.
Yeah, the crew.
The one grandchild was Blakely, my granddaughter.
Yeah.
She was in a dance competition.
Oh, this was
you've
one of
heard of-
those vacations that follow the...
Come on,
Yeah.
follow that kid around. You've heard of travel ball?
Uh-huh.
It's travel dance, baby. And it's
Travel
just
dance.
as intense.
Oh, I believe it.
And the center stage dance team from Harris County, Georgia. And they won.
Oh,
Won a
no
big
kidding.
trophy about 3 times as tall as my granddaughter. I am not kidding you. And they crushed it. They were they were deemed most entertaining of all the dancers in their category.
Congratulations
so really
to
cool.
them.
But so you're dragging the 2-year-old brother of the dancer, the grandson around, and we're looking at Charleston stuff, which again, really cool stuff. And so he's 2, so he's kind of in that maybe the last year of riding in a stroller when you're doing some walking. I don't know. Is Shep a stroller guy?
He's right in that same what you're describing. He's a tweener. If he's tired, let him ride. But
exactly, and
he's
so
got
depending on fatigue or attitude or what you might
yep.
have, that's where. So when he gets in that stroller, guess who he wants to push him?
Poppy
in the house, Poppy in Charleston. So, and here's why: because I do maneuvers. I don't just push the stroller.
No, it's a contact sport. Bro, we're playing bumper cars with strollers,
zigzagging. I'm popping wheelies.
I love it,
bro. I'm like Han Solo navigating through an asteroid field.
Oh, I love that reference. By the way,
never tell me the odds. And so we got 2 movie references in the
so
first
far.
5 minutes.
2 minutes and 2 movie references. Let's keep it going.
Get your movie reference bingo cards out, Sermons on the Side listeners. Had a great time, and actually we sent a video to the Sermons on the Side social media platforms on Facebook and Insta just to on Friday of last week, just to remind everybody about that cool episode 21.
That's right.
Crowd noise, and got some good feedback there.
That's awesome.
Hey, I have to tell you one more feedback before we get to our really, really cool news.
Oh, yeah.
I heard from a friend of mine, and actually a new listener of ours. His name is Elliot Yancey. He's a good friend. He's a pastor of Forest Park First Baptist Church in South Atlanta.
Oh, cool.
And I just found out about our podcast, and he's really loving listening and catching up. And he had a thought on my take about cupcakes and Chick-fil-A cookies.
Oh, that was last episode's
segment.
Yeah,
in episode 21, our segment. And he said he said, I agree with you about cupcakes. Not my favorite. See? Okay. That was affirming to me.
Okay.
But then he says, my issue with you, which is really aggressive sounding,
isn't it? It's a little personal.
But anyway, he says, my issue with you is about Chick-fil-A cookies. Talk about a dessert that thinks too highly of itself. Dadgum Chick-fil-A cookies. They're so funny. I'm just reading this. And then
Dadgum Chick-fil-A cookies.
So I asked him, to unload. Just let it out, brother.
Yep.
And he said, here's the problem. Is it a sugar cookie? Is it a chocolate chip cookie? Is it a chocolate chunk cookie, which is not the same thing at all? Or is it an oatmeal cookie? Pick a lane, bro.
Pick a lane, bro.
Elliot is genius. And then he goes, and speaking of dessert, getting all over your face, hands, and in your lap, get yourself a Chick-fil-A cookie. Your whole life will fall apart. And the wrapper, the wrapper. How can a wrapper be so loud in the hands of a child? And how did chocolate get onto the roof of my car?
The roof of his car?
It's so good. Oh, man.
That sounds like he has previously had a Chick-fil-A cookie attack.
And there's chocolate everywhere inside the car. So I had to thank you, Elliot. We see you. We hear you.
Shout out, Pastor.
I appreciate you, sir. Anyway.
Well, hey, we have some really great news. We've been teasing this for a couple of weeks. It's finally here.
Oh, boy.
You were talking about merch just a second ago from Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we also have merch, and we are so excited to announce
Sermons on the Side merch?
Sermons on the Side merch.
What?
And we are doing a social media merch giveaway next week, okay? So Monday the 23rd through Friday the 27th, this is going to take place. And we'll explain it in just a second. But we've got merch.
This is really cool. And what we've decided to do is to take our merch and put together 2 prize packs.
That's right. The Richard prize pack and then the Brad prize pack, right?
Right. Cupcakes in yours? No. There's no actual edible things in. There's no snacks in the prize packs. What did we call them? We're calling them merch bundles.
Merch bundles.
The merch bundles. Get it right, Richard.
That's right.
We're going to tell them what's in the merch bundle.
Oh, I think we absolutely should. So starting on Monday, you're going to have the opportunity to put your name in the hat, so to speak, as it relates to interacting with a social media post. We'll explain that in just a second. But what's in these bundles, okay, is a coffee mug with the Sermons on the Side logo.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Which looks awesome, by the way.
It does.
And you have already...
Have you a cup of coffee.
You have.
In that mug.
Okay. There you go.
And it is, and I can attest that the coffee tastes better out of that mug.
Would not.
I'm telling you.
Just absolutely... That checks out.
Yes. It's science, people.
So we also have a Sermons on the Side logo branded journal.
The journal.
And pen.
And a pen that goes with the journal. All
so
with
awesome.
the Sermons on the Side logo.
Okay, so that's all the logoed merch. Okay.
But that's not all that's in the bundle, is it?
That's right, because what makes this the Brad merch bundle and then what makes this the Richard bundle is there's two other pieces of this bundle, okay, that are a little bit more specific to us.
Yes.
The first one, kind of fun, more straightforward. It's our favorite, think of it as our favorite over-the-counter coffee grounds,
yes.
okay? Easy, accessible, you can pick it up in whatever your store is, you know, kind of deal. But we each have a favorite, and we want to share that with you. And then the more special one is a daily devotion, one that is near and dear to our hearts for different reasons, and we've included that. And so each one of our bundles will have the mug, the pen, and the journal. Okay, and they'll each have coffee grounds and a devotion.
Right,
but those two will be different.
Right, exactly.
All right,
and it is going to be cool. The idea is that we're putting everything in one bundle that could give you the opportunity to have a cup of coffee, to read some devotional material, to be able to journal and take notes and write things down and just feel awesome while doing it.
Right. To hear from the Lord and to maybe even have him speak some sermons on the side in your life to be able to record that. Okay, so how
in the world are you going to get your name in the hat? And when we say in the hat, that's an expression of a container from which we'll draw names. But for us, it's not just an expression, because your name will be put literally into my Clingstone's hat.
Okay.
And it's from that hat that we will draw the names of the two winners.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
All right. So how can you get your name entered? You can get your name entered 3 times. Actually 4, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So we're going to drop a graphic that has these two kind of prize pack bundles, whatever, merch giveaways.
When is that? When are we dropping that?
That's going to be
Monday
morning, the 23rd.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this on episode drop day, it'll be this coming Monday. Anytime this weekend, we'll also have some instructions on some previous episodes. But on Monday, we're going to drop it. And you can enter your name up to 3 times, okay? The first way is liking the post. Super easy.
All you do is like the post, and you're entered one time.
You're entered in.
What? What's simpler than that?
You share the post, okay? That's the second way. Okay. So if you like it and then you share it, boom, your name's entered 2 times. And then the third way is if you tag a friend in the comments of that post. Okay,
and that's the 3 times. Tray?
That's the 3 times. Now, this picture or this image or this graphic or whatever, this announcement, this merch giveaway thing, will be posted both on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
For the Sermons on the Side social media handles, okay? And if you do all 3 of those for both
platforms, for both Instagram and Facebook,
then you get a bonus 4th entry.
So, wow. So it is possible to get your name in 4 times.
4 times, my friend. Yes, sir. To increase the odds. And although there will only be 2 grand prize winners, the winner of the Richard prize pack and the winner of the Brad prize pack, there may be some additional smaller prize winners. We don't know. So if you're just, if you're not feeling too confident, guess what? We might share the love and just spread the,
because that's kind of people we are, isn't it?
That's right. That's what this podcast is all about.
Come on.
So anyways, so there you have it. Get your name in. You can like, share, comment on any one of those platforms. If you do all of it for both, then you get your name in 4 times.
Quattro.
And you have your chance to win a Richard prize pack or a Brad prize pack. I started saying prize pack.
Yeah,
we said it was going to be like the merch bundle. That's where we're going with.
Yeah,
Either way,
sorry.
look out for it. It's going to be awesome. We can't wait to interact with you on social media. We hope that this is kind of a cool opportunity to engage with you outside of just our episodes. But of course, we're going to keep on trucking on Thursdays, and we've got some really cool things happening, not just in this episode, but in episodes to come for the rest of this month, the rest of this summer. And my goodness, when we start thinking about planning out the rest of the fall and this calendar year, we've got some really cool
amazing.
ideas.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
we trust you, Lord, but
Good
this
things
is fun.
ahead, y'all. Good things ahead.
Did we get everything?
I think we did. All the important info is out there.
Awesome.
Baby.
Well, Richard, you have all the notes
Bruh.
and you are poised and ready. So
Yeah, our sermon on the side today is themed around hockey, the game of the sport of hockey.
well, it's appropriate. We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That's right. This week, the Stanley Cup Finals are going to be wrapping up very shortly. And so, born and raised in the South, not a huge hockey guy. I like watching towards the end of the hockey season when the championship, the playoffs. It's pretty fun stuff, even though I don't understand a whole lot. Like some of the rules and the penalties and the stuff, but I'm really enjoying it. But my love for hockey started, as with a lot of Southerners or people who didn't get hockey, folks that are my age, we remember a very magical thing that happened in the winter of 1980.
Ooh.
It was the Olympic Games that were hosted in Lake Placid, New York in February of 1980. And what's called the Miracle on Ice happened when the American hockey team, made up of a ragtag bunch of college kids and retired, 30-year-olds, came together and won the gold medal. And en route to winning the gold medal, they had to play what is widely acknowledged as the greatest hockey team that was ever assembled in the history of humanity. It was the Russian hockey team that had won. They were just a juggernaut and a monster. They as a program or as a nation had won almost every gold medal in the history of the Winter Olympics. And this particular iteration had just cruised to the gold medal 4 years before, and they were the same team, and they were even better. They were just the best in the world. And the Americans had to go through them to win the gold medal. And so nobody in the world believed that it would happen. That's why it's referred to as the Miracle on Ice. Now, I want to make sure that all our listeners know, whether you remember that story about that 1980 magical thing or not, there was this one culturally iconic moment that came out of the very end of the game where the Americans beat all the odds and defeated the Russians. And it was obviously a lot of magical stuff happened on the ice, but this iconic moment actually came from the broadcast booth. Do you remember how this played out, or are you familiar with how it played out?
I've seen the movie Miracle on Ice, and I think it does. Well, I didn't live it in the '80s, but I think it does a good job of kind of depicting it.
Absolutely does.
Everybody that I know that watched it has raved about how awesome and maybe accurate the movie is. But yeah, they're counting down. And if I'm remembering this correctly, actually, the game with the Russians wasn't the final.
No, it was the semifinal.
It was the semifinal game, and so we still had work to do. But this was by far the biggest challenge.
It was the iconic moment.
The semifinal,
we beat the Russians,
right? And so we're leading, and that announcer, that broadcaster, started counting down.
Al Michaels is his name. Still does NFL games.
I forgot about that.
If you can believe that, he is still crushing it as an NFL broadcaster. And he was getting down. We got within 10 seconds of ending the game with a 1-point lead, and then he says 10 seconds, and then it goes a little farther, 5 seconds. And then as those last 5 seconds tick off, he yells,
right,
do you believe in miracles? And when it hit 0 on the clock, yes! Oh, it was I've got chills right now. It was one of the coolest moments.
So awesome.
And here these young kids had beaten the greatest team in the history of hockey. And but as you said, there was this movie made by Disney. Oh my goodness, it's probably been 20 years ago.
Wow.
Early 2000s when this movie was made, and it's called Miracle. And it is a great telling of that story. And they used Al Michaels' voice, so they did it all. It was super well done. So I recommend going to see that movie or stream it. Disney Plus, I'm sure it's right there. So, but anyway, as is always the case in life, when a miraculous, iconic, super memorable, seismic event takes place, we love remembering that. But what we don't know is what built up to that. That didn't just happen. Yeah. And that's what makes the movie great, because you see the behind the scenes.
Sure.
And I remember watching this movie one time. It wasn't my first time to see it. It's probably my second or third time to see it, sitting at home watching Miracle. And it gets to a point about halfway through the film. And the goalie for the American team, named Jim Craig, was one of the most memorable players on that team. And it's about a week before the Olympic Games were to begin. And they had an exhibition game against the Russians, just a warm-up, a tune-up. It didn't mean anything. It didn't count against or for anybody. But the Russians waxed us 10-4. 10 goals in hockey is like scoring, 100 points in football, right?
Yeah, right.
And Jim Craig just did not play well in this exhibition game. And afterwards, the movie depicts the coach, Herb Brooks, walking by Jim Craig and saying, "Hey, for the first game of the Olympics, I think I'm gonna give Janusek, the backup goalie, a shot. I think I'm gonna give Janusek a look in that first game." So Jim Craig is freaking out. He's the goalie. He's the first stringer for the Olympic team, and he just got told by his coach days before the Olympic Games began, that he just got benched.
Because they lost to the best team ever.
Right. So he fought in the scene. He follows the coach all the way down the hallway, and they're just yelling back and forth, "You can't do this. You can't do this." And Jim Craig says, "That's my net." That's it, as a goalie would say, "That's my position. That's my net." And the coach says, "Jim, they just scored 10 goals. It's pretty much everybody's net right now." It's a great line. But in this interaction, what the coach is trying to do is to call out a better hockey player, a greater goalie that he knows is inside of Jim Craig. And he makes a comment, and he says, "Jim, I don't know what's wrong, but there's a whole nother level of hockey that you're capable of, but for some reason you're not willing to go there." And then they go on with that scene. Now, at this time that I'm telling you, I'm watching this film, probably, as I said, for the second or third time. I'm watching that interaction. I know it's coming, but I hear that line. There's a whole nother level of hockey that, for some reason, you're not willing to go to. And as I'm sitting there, it felt like, I'm sitting on the couch, it felt like God was sitting beside me and elbows me and goes, "By the way, that's you." And I'm like, "Man, God, I was having a great time watching this movie, and you're ruining it for me." Seriously, though, that line just jumped out at me.
Yeah,
a whole nother level of living, of thriving, of growing, of maturing, developing. And this was the part that got me. For some reason, you're not willing to go there. Boy, that is hard to hear.
Yeah.
But I knew in my gut that God was saying it to me. He was saying, "Richard, there's levels I have for you in your life, but you're not willing to go there." It was just this is like a search or a spotlight just seared into my spirit, and I couldn't deny it. And I said, "Whoa, what in the world would things look like if I was really approaching the different areas of my life and my growth and development, my recovery journey," which we talk about a lot, my addiction recovery journey, my relationships, my healing from wounds and weirdness and sin and brokenness of the past? Are there levels that God sees in me and has planned for me, but I'm not willing to go there? it was one of the most sobering moments, like real correction moments that I was feeling. Can you sense what that kind of moment would be like? Well, whether it's for an athlete being called out by their coach.
Sure.
Or when the Spirit of God is saying to a person, there is so much more.
Yeah.
But that you're not willing to. Do you feel that?
I absolutely do, because what I'm imagining right there is in that scene, those players and that goalie, right? They're thinking about what just happened, right? Which, don't get me wrong, was not probably fun. Getting beat by 6 goals or however many it was, letting in 10. Just every period they're going to get 3 or 4 goals. It seemed probably, but the coach, he wasn't worried about that game.
He wasn't. Huh?
He was thinking, and he wasn't honestly even thinking about the first game of the Olympics. And so how often he was thinking about further down. The coach was already envisioning the championship game, which, by the way, they needed
Jim Craig.
Jim Craig. I almost said Jim Craig.
Absolutely.
They needed Jim Craig, and he was a vital part to why they ended up winning the gold medal. And so I'm thinking about how, as we translate this to our life, and maybe even right now, we've got a listener that the Lord's just kind of elbowing on your drive or while you're working out, or maybe while you're sitting and enjoying a coffee and saying, hey, there is a whole nother level of love with me, with intimacy with the Father, with relationship with those around you that I have prepared for you, but for some reason, you're just not willing to go there yet. And I think oftentimes it can be because we're so focused on what we see and everything that's at arm's length, our circumstances, our situation, our every single day-to-day, kind of minute by minute, decision by decision. And the Lord's inviting us to kind of zoom out of this monotonous day-to-day. Maybe just feels like, honestly, we're in survival mode.
Honestly.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And or you know what? Maybe it feels like you just got beat by the Russian hockey team 10-0.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
10-4, whatever it was. And life just has you down. The Lord is inviting us to not be emotionally attached to our circumstances.
That's huge.
But to attach ourselves to Him and to His truth.
Yes. Right? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I look, Herb Brooks, as it turns out, that coach was a master at calling out the greatness in his players,
bringing it out,
and that was one of those moments. And I say to myself, we know the story, as you said. Jim Craig was the integral part, so he responded correctly. And sure, it was highly emotional, as you were just describing, but he was intentional. He put himself out there, and he said, I am going to step into those other levels. And he responded correctly. And I want that for me.
Yeah.
I want to be able, to your point, I want to be able to detach from the emotion, good, bad, or ugly as it might be. And I want to say, I want to be hungry.
Yeah.
For the other levels.
I love how you just said that, to be hungry for the other levels. I think one of the things that I have fallen victim to often in my life is the idea that I need to detach my emotions from my circumstances and then throw them away.
Yeah, that is a way a lot of us assume.
Right. And that's not true. The Lord is inviting us into an emotive relationship with Him. Yes. In fact, I would argue that the emotions that we get to experience in our relationship with the Lord is the vehicle that drives a lot of that depth, okay? But we don't let our emotions be dictated by our circumstances. We let it be dictated by the truth that God says about us, our identity with Him.
Yes.
And when we do that, all of a sudden, hey... Bro, I've cried more this past week. Can I just be honest? I have shed more tears this past week. And it has all been good tears. Okay. It's all been positive tears. It's been tears that I'm just caught up in these really big God stories that all of a sudden I look up and I'm going, I cannot I could never have imagined that the Lord has allowed me to be a part of these waves and waves and waves of grace in my friends and in my family's life.
Thank you, Lord. Oh.
And so when we say, and I love how you said it earlier, I love how I truly do, detach our emotions from our circumstances. But the Lord is inviting us to reattach to those and to engage with Him.
Oh, gosh. Yes. That is so good. And I think about that. I think about how if I look back to the power and the punch that scene packed for me.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, one of the things that was most impacting was the statement, "You're not willing to go there." And so I'm inviting our listeners to ask a pretty bodacious question of ourselves and of the Lord. And that's to say, Lord, could you show me where I am saying no? There's something in me. I might not even be aware that I'm pushing back. But is there somewhere where I'm saying no to the next level that you have for me in my life? Is it a new level of forgiveness? Is it a new level of taking some risk, maybe?
Yeah.
Perhaps something I'm avoiding. And I'm aware of it, or was, and I've gotten so used to avoiding it, it's not even on my radar anymore. Hard conversation, maybe.
Yeah.
That needs to happen. Am I saying no, actively or passively?
Yeah.
And am I thinking in my own little way, well, I'm one of the 2 best goalies in America right now.
Right.
What's wrong with my life? This is not bad. I'm good here.
Yeah. We're not expected to win the gold medal, but I'm still on the team.
Yeah, I got the jersey.
Yeah.
This will be hanging on my wall the rest of my life. But there's something more, and I'm saying no.
Right. Maybe it is something big, like you're describing. Inviting us into more faith. Inviting us into more belief that God can make that breakthrough. But maybe it's something simple. And I got a feeling right now that there's a lot of people that I think they might know exactly what it is that they're saying no to. And it's being bold with that coworker about your faith. It's praying with your family.
Come on.
It's living those kind of day-to-day moments that we know we should do because we're Christian and we're in relationship with the Lord, but we just haven't for whatever reason. And the best time to plant a tree was 50 years ago. The second best time is right now.
Right now. Yes.
Yeah. And but hey,
thank you.
Be warned. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
If you invite the Lord into this and to ask to show you the places where you're saying no, it's kind of like patience. Don't pray for patience because the Lord's going to give you opportunities for patience. Hello, drive home from work. Hello.
Right.
But if you ask the Lord to show you where the areas of your life that you're saying no in, prepare thyself because thyself will be shown.
Gosh. And to a point I alluded to earlier, man, we remember the moments, the game-winning goal. We remember the seconds ticking off the clock and the wonderful, magical phrase, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes. We remember all that, but that happened because of thousands of tiny little steps and sacrifices.
That's great.
And commitments and decisions that all of those players and those coaches made.
That's right.
Thousands of them led up to that. So the little things, I remember when a brother came to me and said, "Hey, my wife just kind of says grace over the meals at my family because I'm not really comfortable praying out loud." And I said, "Bro, go for it." And seeing him come back the next week and say, "You're not going to believe what happened." I think I stink at praying out loud, but I did it. And I'm like, "Bro, that's it. That's the level. You were not willing to go there.
He said yes.
Now you are." He said yes.
He
exactly.
said yes.
And so the end result of saying yes, whether it's a big step or seemingly small step, the end result will be that at some point, and I'm going to read from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. And Paul the apostle says, I beg you to lead a life worthy of your calling because you have been called by God. God is calling you to something glorious, a glorious purpose. And I used to read that verse and I would say, oh, great, more pressure for me to step up and make this happen. Like I would be able to do that in my own strength.
Yeah.
But did you know that the verse right before that says in Ephesians 3, verse 20, he says, now all glory to God, who is able, through his power at work in us, to accomplish infinitely more, exceedingly abundantly above what all we could ask or think. And so, since glory to him forever in the church and all through all eternity, because of all that, I beg you, get to that next level. Oh, isn't that great?
That is so good.
And one day we'll be able to look and see that change is happening, growth is happening, and we'll say to ourselves, I never thought that I would be different than generations of men and fathers in my family. I never thought I'd recover from the worst mistakes I ever made. I never thought relationships could be healed. I never thought I could forgive. And in the Spirit, somewhere a voice says, do you believe in miracles?
Come on!
Yes! Woo! So, oh my gosh, I got caught up there. That sermon,
awesome,
bro. I'm telling you.
That was unbelievable.
That's
Thank
us.
You, Lord.
That could be us, y'all.
It is.
So thank y'all for engaging with us on this sermon on the side. And watch that movie, for crying out loud.
Watch the movie. Dude, that was awesome. Oh, this is one of those really kind of whiplashy, abrupt, transitional moments here. Hit me with a quick segment, brother.
Okay, quick segment. For those of you in the Sermons on the Side Facebook and Insta family that we were referring to earlier.
Hopefully it'll be more after this next week.
Yes. Last week, I posted a little 1-minute video walking around Charleston.
Of course.
Reminding everybody that a day before that cool episode had dropped, and blah, blah, blah. So sending that. And then, finished the video, sent it out, posted it. Minutes later, a rainstorm of biblical proportions hit downtown Charleston.
Did you get hit? Were you wet?
Yeah, I got hit, buddy. Oh. So I'm running to the. My wife had already gone ahead. Her and my mother-in-law, and they're under a safe, pavilion. I'm running. I'm getting. And I'm remembering umbrellas are lame. Umbrellas are lame.
From episode 1.
Yes, the callback. And then I'm also remembering that when I find a hat that fits me, like the one I'm wearing now, and was wearing when this happened, I can't let it get wet because when cloth hats get wet and dry, they shrink. So I have a hat stuffed under my shirt, and I'm running. All right, so anyway, we survived and it was fine. It eventually passed, but it was a humdinger. So my question for you is, when caught in the rain, would you rather be wearing sandals / flip-flops or shoes?
Oh.
It's a no-win situation, but what's worse?
What's worse for me or the people around me?
Come on.
I think generally high level, I'm a socks and shoes guy.
Golly,
I just
so bad.
Oh, is that not right?
Soggy socks, man. Well, what's worse than soggy socks?
You gotta have a second pair. You just change into. Dude, me and flip flops, we're not on speaking terms.
No.
Yeah.
Really? Doesn't work?
Doesn't work.
Is it just painful?
No, it's totally fine. I just, my feet are so white you almost see through them.
Okay.
So it's just not a.
That's so good.
We're not.
Oh my word!
Yeah,
I feel you.
I don't know if my feet have seen sunlight. 2020.
Yeah. So you're just saying the general public doesn't need that,
right? No. Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
For me,
okay.
Oh yeah, I walk around in some What are those cool sandals that the kids wear?
Crocs.
No, not Crocs. Chacos.
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 Can you edit out that I said Crocs enthusiastically? Did you hear that? I was like, "Hey man, Crocs!" The old guy
says the poppy. Says the poppy.
Yes.
Says I redeemed it.
Okay, I was wearing Hey Dudes at the time.
Oh,
I don't know if they're ever going to be right.
Oh, tough scene. You talk
hopefully
about
they'll
wet
dry
cloth
out.
that kind of shrinks.
Anyway, so there you are. Just
we want to hear from
wanna
you.
know.
Socks or sandals in a rainstorm, and your reasons why. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. This has been an awesome episode. Thank you so much, Richard. This has blessed me, and if it has blessed you, we would love to just share it with some friends, family, whoever. And be on the lookout next week, starting Monday the 23rd through Friday the 27th. We're going to have this social media giveaway. So check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, interact with us, and have your chance to win some
the merch bundles.
Merch bundles.
Woohoo!
All right.
Hey, thank y'all. We'll see you next week. Talk to you. Okay, man. Well, I tell you, I'm pretty excited. But, hey, did you get my picture of me drinking out of the Sermons on the Side mug, logo mug?
I don't think
Saturday morning, dude. No, it was Saturday of, or was it Thursday? I'm telling you, man. I sent you that picture. I gotta look.
Did I not respond to it?
Well, I'm sure it was a busy day.
I don't think you did.
Oh, it was way.
Was it before Chicago?
Dude, did I never send that? I never sent it.
You never sent it.
Dude. Oh, it was. Dang, man. I'm sending it right
I definitely would have interacted with it.
I just thought, man, it's a long day. It's been a long day for me. Yeah, it was right before it was the day we left. It was like Wednesday of last week.
The day you left for Charleston.
Yep.
Okay. You really have been world traveler.
Yeah, man. And this weekend, I'm on Friday morning. I'm going to Birmingham to spend some time with Pops.
Oh yeah, dude! I've never seen that photo.
Golly!
Look at you!
An actual cup of coffee was in that.
Out of the Sermons on the Side mug.
First ever use of the Sermons on the Side mug. Bro. It was awesome.